can, I don't know. Okay, so I'm recording. We're going to talk through how I get the class started in Canvas. Okay, so we are going into this one. This is the 101 8-week face-to-face class. And let's see if I did this. I tried to copy over into the pages. Oh, I haven't copied it over yet. Okay. Once I copy everything from our class over, I'll show you the TA page of what we're doing. All right, but first we just have to go get our old class. And so I go here, I say copy a Canvas course. I search for the one I want. So we want to get the one from the summer, the 801. And then for this, I will say all content. You know, you can go if you want to just get like an assignment from a class, you can select specific content, but we're going to get the whole class and we're going to remove any dates that are in there just so it doesn't, and then I just hit add import queue. And now it's running here. And it usually takes a minute or so. I'll pause the recording maybe while we're hanging out here. Okay, so I'm recording. So again, I wouldn't worry about these right now. We'll check for broken links after we get things kind of set up. Okay, so now we are in the class. And I'm going to show you the page that I created. Well, actually, I just put it on your page, the one that you use for creating a new course. I just made a section here at the beginning called Ashley with the things that I do. And then the rest of it is your section. And so I'm just going to walk you through this, basically. Not all of it, like we won't worry about like the office hours sign up. And some of this I won't actually talk through, but this is kind of the list because some of this I've done already. Okay, so, whoops. So I'm gonna open a new tab just for the class. Let me get back into it here. This one. Okay, so now, actually, let me put that back. All right, so now I just need to get the home page on there, the correct home pages. And so I'm gonna go to pages, view all pages. Then I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna find the right home page, which is the 8-week. And first I'm gonna publish it. And then I'm gonna say use as front page. And then I'm gonna delete this one that came with Canvas just so it doesn't, and there's this other thing, course setup recommendations, that's also comes with Canvas. I just usually delete those so that I don't end up with a bunch of those in my class. And then I'll go down, and then I'll unpublish the online one, since this one is the 8-week. And then I'll go down here, I'll publish the start here, and I'll unpublish that one. So then I'm going to go to the home page again, and it should look right like it would normally look. We can fix the instructors. I'll up here, I don't think I even have that on my task list. let me pull that up. Oh, we haven't made it yet. Let's see, we haven't made, I don't think we've made the syllabus yet for this. Okay, so I'm gonna edit this and just put Addie's name in there. I'm actually just gonna, first I'm gonna remove the link just to make sure I don't end up with a weird hidden link in there, you know? And then I'm gonna start one down here just to make sure it doesn't make it all one link. Okay, so it linked that up. I'm just doing it like this so it makes sure it keeps their emails separate and it's not like one giant link. Okay, good. Okay, so now we have our front page. It looks like it's got the right weeks on it. I always click on the start here. Oh yeah, and I already fixed that there, her name there, and always make sure it kind of says the right start here that it's linking up to. Okay, so now we've got that going. I have not revised the syllabus and schedule, Ija, yet for this. So I think let's just think this through. You can do the schedule, right? Because you know what you did last summer. So you can kind of download it and fix it. And then the syllabus, some things have changed, a little bit of things may have changed since last summer in the syllabus. So why don't I just take a look at the syllabus? I'll make a note to myself to get that ready. Okay. Just like some little language may have changed, and it might just be easier if I use. Actually, why don't you try using the one that you and I had in the fall syllabus, and then I'll do it. I'll do it because I know what has changed. Like there's just some little links. I'll do the syllabus. Okay. So normally I would add TAs, but we don't have to for this. Get the TAs in the syllabi. I do some stuff where I create an email group, TAs, and give them to the grading spreadsheet. Okay, so that's taken care of. So now we want to do the iClicker. And I don't know what this means. It's a note to myself, Aegis. So let's just figure out if we can figure this out. iClicker registration in schedule. Add drop. Oh, I see. You know, because when you do the schedule, iClicker isn't there for an online class. It is there for a face-to-face class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I think we maybe have a slightly different due date for the 8-week for when they need to have the iClicker figured out, you know? So you'll compare that with what we had last summer. Okay. So then now we're going to do iClicker and get that linked up in the class. How did I do this last time? Trying to think if I linked it up or if I think I'm actually gonna have Brock do this, Ija. Yeah, I'm gonna have Brock do it because I think that's what he did last time, and it's better if he's kind of created it and it comes from him. Okay. So we'll tell him that we have not set up iClicker and synced it yet, but he knows what he's doing. Okay, so maybe I'll highlight that. so that we remember to kind of share that with him. Oh, wait, not that. What am I looking for here? There's my highlighting tool there. Okay. Okay, so Revel we're going to do. And so how we do that is we go here under modules. And click on Revel Launch. And then, yeah, I want to use my previous content. And the weird thing is it doesn't usually look like this, Egypt, with this jumbled name here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that is. That just showed up this time. I'm going to choose the date from the summer class because I know that I just set it up. I will tell you the Arnett textbook is going to a 4th edition this July. And I don't know what Brock is going to use in the fall. Lisa Donhauer is going to stick with the 3rd edition. She doesn't want to have to deal with changing the textbook yet and all the lectures, you know? So she could still copy the Revel that we are using in the summer if she wanted. And so could Brock if he doesn't want to change the textbook. If they want to change to the new edition, then they're going to have to set it up and not copy ours. Okay. So I'm going to click on this. And then I'm going to call it and we'll just call it Rigsby and Zonka. I think I've got that right. This is where I was having some issue this last time, where it was not, let's just see if the date, okay. Let's see if it works. Let's see. So we're going to say, maybe we'll make it available. Oh, here, I'll just do it. So 6/13. I'll make it kind of right before it starts. Well, I don't know. How soon do you think we want it to be open for students? Do you want it to be much earlier than when the class opens?
I'm not sure. Maybe do we need to ask Brock?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll just make it, let's see. Let me look at a calendar here. Maybe I'll just make it open like a week before. And then I'll close it at the end. I just usually leave it open a little bit longer, so we'll close it at the end of August. Okay. Okay, so we've got dates, we've got a class. Great. This is what happened before. I clicked continue and nothing happened. And I think there's some sort of little glitch here. So I think what I did last time is I refreshed my screen. Yeah, see it when you refresh, it totally looks different. And I don't know why. But now the dates work. So maybe I just needed to refresh right away. Okay, then I have to redo this. Okay. So then we don't do anything here because we don't sync manually. So we just click on the class. And then, oh, I think maybe I forgot to publish mine in the 4 weeks. I need to just check that. I don't remember doing this. Okay, so we need to publish it. So what we do here is we say due date and we make it because there's issues if you set it if you set it for when it's actually due, it creates challenges if you have to change the due date. So I never set the due date here in Revel. In case because you remember how sometimes in some classes the whole system crashes on the day and I have to extend it another day.
Yeah.
It messes everything up in here to try to change the date at the last minute. So I don't enter a date anymore and I just have this note to the students. And then I hit publish. Okay, so that one's published. And then I'm going to do this one. I'm going to make this one day due 1 day later because then I can try to put it in order by date. Okay, and that's all together. And then I just hit publish. And then I'm going to sort by ascending. Okay, so now we've got those are in here. So that's all we have to do for Revel. Okay, so let's see where we are on the list now. Okay, Echo 360. All right, so let's see about setting this up. And this one is always a little tricky for me to remember exactly what I'm doing. Okay, but I'm going to get out of that. And that. So I'm going to go to my saved kind of Echo 360 setup. That's what it says. Okay. Get started. Review steps to provide. Okay, so we do this. Okay. So we just go here for, wait, let's see. Okay, view your Echo 3. This. We go here. Oh, so I have to log in. And I actually don't think you're going to be able to do this part, Ija. It has to be the instructor. But this way you kind of know what it looks like. So then we will go to summer. There is something you have to do in Canvas though, so I'll show you that. Okay, so then it's the 101 and this, so we just say this, we click on that. And the rest of these are just my online classes and you just hit submit request. And it should be okay because they are, I'm assuming Brock and Addie will have access to this since they're listed to as instructors, but okay, so then what we have to do is we have to go back in here. And it looks like maybe I hid Echo 360 because it was not in my online class. So I'm going to go under navigation and I'm going to get it back on the left sidebar. So I'm going to move it up here. maybe under the textbook access. And then I'm going to hit save. And so then now I'm going to click on this. And this is where this is something I've messed up before. I've like started it in the Echo 360 part, but I have forgotten to do this part in Canvas, and then they can't see it. So, this, I think. I'm supposed to remember. Oh yeah, so I just do this. I go find it here, and I usually just type in, oh wait, there it was. Nope. Yeah. Okay, good. So that's the one we're looking for, right? Summer 2025. And then we just hit connect. And so now it'll anytime they record, they'll show up there. Okay. So that's Echo 360. Respondus, all you have to do if you want to keep everything the same is just open it. That's it. So I'll show you that. Just click on Lockdown Browser. And then it just says this. Your settings have been updated. It just requires that you open the dashboard. And so since we did that, we should be okay. Everything has copied over for that. But if you don't do that, then it hasn't. If you don't do that little step, then apparently it doesn't work. I don't know why. So, okay. And then now we want to do course reserve because we have some videos that they watch on course reserve. So this would be the instructor would have to do this. And so I go to, oh, libraries is up here, sorry. Libraries, course reserve. Go to the login. Okay, so these are my current classes right now, I think, although it's not saying the semester. So I'm going to go to the upcoming. It's a little hard to tell, but 60, the 2560 means summer. Like 10 is spring, 60 is summer, and I think 90 is the fall or something like that. It's not showing those. So we want to do, okay, I'm not seeing it yet. But I'm surprised. Okay, so it seems like we should be seeing it here. Let me go back to the main menu. Yeah, we're not seeing it. And I have my other summer classes. Those are in here. This is a summer class. This is a summer class. Okay, wait, maybe it's just down here. Nope, that's semester at sea. Okay, so we'll have to come back to this one. Normally what I do is I'll show you what I do with another class. How about that? And I'm going to have to email them to see why we don't have it, you know? Maybe it's showing up under Brock's. It may be that it's showing up under for Brock and not for me because he's the primary instructor. So I'll email about that. Okay. But I'll show you what I do for like, so for this, my summer class, I actually have to do it for both sections. So I'm going to go into, I'm going to add reserve items. I'm going to copy from a previous course, and I'm just going to pick this one, the spring, 2025 online class. And so it's going to default to all of that. And I say import for that. And then I have to go back to the main menu. I have to kind of go back into this, and then I have to do the same thing for the 801 summer class, which, because it says it has 0 items. And I do the same thing here. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to menu and do the same thing for 402. I'll do that later. I'll just remember that I haven't done it yet, so we don't have to keep, but you get the idea, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's that task, course reserve. Okay. So sometimes, yes, we go under assignments, quizzes. You and I aren't going to have to do this because we copied this class over at the beginning. Oh, we will have to do some of this. Okay, so here what we're going to do is this first part. Go under assignments. And because I think they do iClicker, I'm going to actually delete these groups here. Sometimes it brings things over. So we are going to publish iClicker registration, and we are going to publish the iClicker makeup. Sometimes down here, Ija, this is where I have to, under extra credit, if we've copied a class over, oh wait, let me do the syllabus quiz. Okay, so there's that one. And we're going to take off the online one. And then, okay, so we've got the right. And then, yeah, you can see, I can see a mid-semester eval, but not, and one for the 4-week, but not for the 8-week. So we'll talk about that at the end. Let's circle back to that. And maybe it's in there, Egypt, from last summer. We could go, we can get it, if it's in there. Okay, I'm going to delete that too. And then fired up. I can't remember if they did fired up last time.
Remember either.
I don't either. So let's put that on our list to ask Brock if he's doing fired up or not, When we follow up to say the course is ready, we can make that like one of our questions. Okay. So we'll leave it unpublished for now. And yeah, I'm going to unpublish that one, and then we'll come back and deal with this one. Sometimes under assignments down here, because for all these extra credits, I do all that importing to make things extra credit. There'll be something that says extra credit or EC syllabus import, EC mid-semester import, EC final eval import. Those all just get deleted. But because we just copied this class over at the beginning, they're not in here. The other thing that I often have to do, and sometimes you do this, but sometimes I do it, is I have to go in and make the quiz, because when I've changed it to be extra credit here, I have to go in and make sure it's a graded quiz, not an ungraded survey. And then same thing with, or similar thing with these two surveys. I have to look at them and make sure it says graded survey, not ungraded survey. And then I have to assign it to be 2 points. And that's only when we copy a class that's near its end. I think you do some of that. Okay. Then the other thing, and we don't have to do this time either, but because we copied it over new. But then the other thing that I do is I go in and make sure I remove the drop rules, because we drop, for example, in this class, we drop 2 of these, which looks like this when you do the drop. And so when you copy it over, if you've copied a class at its end, it's going to come over with these drop rules. And I never want them to be dropping things immediately because it gives them like a false sense that their grade is better than it actually is. I
Okay.
only do the drops at the end. So we have to come in here and edit it and just remove any drops that were in for the chapter quizzes or the journal article pre-check or the papers. Those things that we drop. And then sometimes up here, there's also an old iClicker Mac. There's an old iClicker grade and an old iClicker Max points. And I have to delete those too, just old things from the last class. Okay. Okay, so we're about near the end. So then I usually go through the extra credit syllabus quiz myself. And so I'll let you do that and just make sure it looks okay, if there's no issues. And then I go to the modules and take a look at what's published, unpublished to make sure it all looks okay. And I usually delete this because it's just kind of in my way. So yeah, it looks like we have all the start here's that we need here, and because we unpublished the others and published it, we've got the right one published. Occasionally, like the start here that we need won't be on this list or something, and so I have to just make sure it's there. And then the extra credit syllabus quiz that we want is done. So we're good. And the iClicker is published. So everything looks good right now. I always check to make sure that we have the right explanation of the format and days. And this should have copied over okay. So that's under the start here, where it says this, this is what we have there. And we have this information, I think, in our opening announcement, and we'll make sure it's in the syllabus too. Yeah. So it looks like that's good. Okay, gradebook settings, they do copy over the whole 5% and the manual and automatic postings. The one thing that we usually have to fix is the extra credit syllabus quiz. So go to grades. I always go to view and I unclick the unpublished assignments so that they're not in there. And now I find the syllabus quiz that we're going for the hours. And you can see that it went to it defaulted because we changed it back to a graded quiz from an ungraded survey. It defaults back to a manual post. And what that means is students aren't going to be able to see their grades, even though they can take it 3 times and it keeps the highest score. And so then they can't tell what their score is and whether or not they want to retake it if it's on manual post. And so I always go here and change this grade posting policy to automatic. And that's the one thing that I usually have to change. The rest of them copy over fine and aren't an issue. Because it's okay if the mid-semester and final evals aren't posted. Okay. But yeah, like some of these things are automatic. The APA quiz, the chapter exams, the lecture quizzes, the fired up and honors. And I think that they should copy over as an automatic grade posting. So I think we're okay on all that. Like if we just double check here, APA, that one it's going to post automatically because it doesn't say manual, which is good. So they can see what their score is and decide to take it again. Okay, here's the broken links part. Let's see. I'm going to make myself a note there. Okay. All right, so then how we check for broken links is we go under settings. Whoops. And we click validate links in content. And it can take a while. Sometimes I walk away and come back. So maybe I'll pause the recording here and we can talk about other stuff. Okay, so I do sometimes get a lot of broken links, it seems like, but it's not what we think. So we first will click off this. And so now, yeah, you can see it went from 248 to 16, because if something's unpublished, it's going to show up as like if it's an assign, it'll show up that it can't link to it and it's broken. Okay, this comes up all the time. This is what's set up by CSU Online. And I don't think this is an issue, but how I check this is because I don't want to lose this page. I usually right click and I open in a new tab. And then we could always just click on view as a student. It's just this stuff here, I think. Passport can review oh, maybe this is what it is. Yeah, I think this is their error. I don't know, whatever, or maybe it's there, but this isn't something I have any control over, this passport thing. This comes in from CSU Online. So anyway, this stuff automatically gets populated. So don't worry about the passport thing. Now this, I have been getting this, sometimes if you're linking to something external, you get that it can't find it. I have started checking these, at least some of them, to make sure that they work, because sometimes my external links are broken. So I'll just click on this and make sure that works. I'll click on this and make sure that works. And I'll click on that. This course is not published. What is that? Oh, okay. Well, this is good to know. We have a page that's unpublished, the iClicker page. So I need to make sure I'm. Okay, this is good for me. I don't know if I have this on my list. iClicker was unpublished, so students couldn't access it. So let's just see here. I'm going to add that to my unpublished, publish, homepage. Start here, iClicker. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, so there, we've got that saved now. Okay, so iClicker is okay. Okay, so we have something here in this one, the final grades. I think it's this, and I just checked this link, but this one gets broken a lot. The registrar kept moving this link around, and so I think I found a new link that, yeah, is fine. So that one works. Okay, the mid-semester evaluation, this is a pain, but because we change it to an ungraded survey and then back to a graded survey, the link is always broken on it. You've probably fixed that for me before. I don't know, but I always have to go in and find where it is and just relink it. And sometimes it's the final eval too. It kind of depends on when we copied the course. Oh, let's see here. Did I just go past it? Like there. But yours, EJ, you're gonna make actually a different one. You're gonna make a different mid-semester eval. Let me think this through. Is that the one we talked about you making a new one? I
Yeah,
think so.
but if I remember it correctly, I think last summer we had an evaluation for that.
Okay.
We'll double check that.
So I'm not gonna link this one because you're gonna have to go in and link it to the one that you make, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just cancel that. So we can ignore those two. And you'll just have to remember you have to link it to chapter 7, chapter 8, and probably the announcements, whenever you make it. This link keeps coming up as not automatically opening, so I often just check on it, update Chrome first, and the link still seems to be working there, so I think we're okay. Exit out of some of this. Okay. iClicker page. Oh, that's iClicker registration. Okay, yeah. So iClicker page, let's just make sure. That one. Yep. Those are all still working. Because we have an iClicker page and an iClicker for registration. These are all internal links. So, whoops. That's fine. Okay, so I just checked some of these external links. Let's see, that one. It's also still working. Oops. Okay, so I think the rest of these are internal. So I just checked kind of the external links there. I don't do that all the time, but periodically to make sure. Because a lot of these show up all the time. And so I don't always check them, but sometimes I do just to make sure. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the final eval, also because we changed that. So this one I can fix because we're not going to have a separate final eval, I don't think. We don't usually, right? We have the same one. Do you remember?
I think we have the same one for.
I think we do too. So I'm just going to remove that link and put that in why there's a period there. Oops, there. Okay. Okay, this is romantic attachment. Well, I don't even know actually, Ija, this might be not one that we're using. Hold on here. Oh, you know what else we have to do? Shoot, I messed this up, Ija. I forgot that we have to fix all these pages. I don't usually do this in my other classes, just 101, but we have to do all the chapter overview pages. So here, actually, let me go back and just do it here. Here, we have this, like, right? We have to go back and do, which means I probably didn't run it on the right. We need to recheck our link validator. Sorry, because it was only going on published content. Dang it. Yeah, sorry that I forgot this part. Okay. There should be one other final event, examine evaluations. And I think there's a romantic attachment one here. Okay. Okay, so actually I'm going to go back here and do it again. I think what I'll do is just stop the video here because we're going to have to restart it and just look at these again. Okay, but yeah, sorry that I forgot to do those pages. So then actually the other thing we have to do is under the modules. I think you've been doing this, but we have to. That's unpublished because this is for that's for the 16-week class. I think this, let's just see, is this the 8-week? Hold on. Okay. So here's where we want to publish all of those, right? I can't tell. I'm going to go ahead and publish this just in case, because sometimes there's something about this where if it's not published, this little module, people can't see it. So I'm going to do publish module and all items. Okay, and then I'm going to unpublish module only because I don't want all the items to be unpublished if they're in another module, right? There. Yeah, and I don't know about this final eval. Let me just see what this. Okay. Okay, so we've got all those. Oh, I think actually this can be unpublished. Unpublished module only. I'm just going to do that. Okay, so then let's just look at it from the student view and make sure it looks kind of normal for them. If they're coming in, they're going to see this stuff on Revel. They're going to see this stuff on Start Here. And then, yeah, they're just going to see their weeks for the 8-week class. And that's it. Okay. All right, so I forgot that we had to do that too. So let me just add that back here. We should make this here. Modules, Start Here pages and chapter overview pages. Start here. And that's what we had to do. Does that seem like I got that right? Okay. Did I lose my way? I think I did go back out of my, I came out of my links, my broken links. Let's see if it redid it. Okay. So then I'm gonna do that. Okay, so we've already done this, we've already done that. Huh. Well, that's an announcement. So you could ignore that. That's that 8-week where you're going to fix that. That one we've looked at, those we've looked at. That is this published? This is unpublished. So we don't have to worry about that. Huh. I wonder if it's. Okay, I'm going to restart it one more time, Ija. I feel like maybe when I got off the page, it stopped doing it. Okay. All right, but I'm going to stop the recording because you're kind of seeing what I'm doing, and I don't think we have to keep going on that.